Hey UConn Nation, it's KK Arnold here. If you're looking for the latest UConn women's basketball content, go subscribe to listen up to Phil and Ryan. Go Huskies!
Oh yeah, it's Phil and Rye on Listen Ups. Thank you, KK and Rye. I'm still looking at it. We have shaving cream, whipped cream, baked apple pies, everything sitting in that corner. We don't want it to go in the trash can. This is the last check-in. It's coming down to the end, Ryan. It is coming down to the end. Well, of course, we don't want it to end. Not yet, right? So this is the last check-in predictions. Like always, at the conclusion of the video, comments. We appreciate you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Ryan, a huge last check-in. I personally think if the UConn Huskies make it to the national title, I think that this is the bigger last check-in than that national title, if that makes any sense. A big date set with Lauren Betts and UCLA.
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking right before we went on, South Carolina and Texas, neither one of them have looked that impressive to me. So I think this matchup here could be the championship matchup
Ooh.
where, whoever wins this game, I feel like has a pretty good chance of taking it all. But, now we're down to four teams. This is pretty much it. Whoever comes out of Tampa is going to be the national champs, and of course. UConn faces the number one overall seed UCLA Bruins at 9 p.m. So it'll be another late one for everybody. But UCLA, they've pretty much been the best team overall, I'd say, for the whole entire season. They had to defeat Southern, Richmond, Ole Miss, and LSU to get here. Bruins have only lost two games the whole season. Both came in the regular season against USC. And I think many of us predicted this matchup. I know I had this in my bracket, UConn playing UCLA. Now, UCLA obviously has one of the best players in the nation in Lauren Betts, averaging 20 points and just under 10 rebounds on the season. But this roster is stacked with talent all the way through, shooting threats all the way down the roster. Kiki Rice, who averages 13 points per game. Gabriela Jaquez and Tamia Gardner, who can really shoot the three ball. London Jones and Janiah Barker as well. So there's really not a lot of soft or weak points on this team. UConn's going to have to defend the perimeter, but also limit Lauren Betts inside as much as possible. And that's what makes UCLA tough to play against. But we've seen the Huskies play Reagan Beers and Kiki Irefin in back-to-back games now, and Sarah Strong and UConn as a whole have done very well to limit those players. And as always, I think the UConn defense can create some turnovers. That's going to be key for them to come out on this one, but they're definitely going to have to try to limit Lauren Betts as much as possible and try to defend that three ball as much as they can.
It's crazy, right? Because as I pulled up comments from the last video to read to you, your favorite part of the show, an ad pops up, right? Paige Bueckers. I don't know if anybody's seen it. I don't know if you have. And what is the site, Ryan? You told me Tampa, Florida for the Final Four.
Yeah,
So
Tampa.
I know you know where I'm going with this. I know you've seen the ad before. Paige Becker says, people seem to get upset that I'm everywhere. She says, funny, because they get upset here too. So, Ryan, I got a message for you this morning on this beautiful Wednesday, April 2nd. No disrespect. Let me just put that out there now, but let's upset them in Tampa, Florida. All right. Let's go over to comment time because I cannot wait to get into predictions. And I can't wait to see everybody else, our beautiful subscribers, and everybody who comes through predict. Leave your comments in the comment section. Predict who will win this one. Again, because in my opinion, not many times I find myself telling you this, Ryan. I feel like that this might be a bigger one than the national title, if that makes any sense, right? Let's go over to Giannis Press. The movie is still on Texas. UConn final. Oh, so Ryan, they're jumping too far ahead here. They're saying Texas and UConn. Whoa. Well, obviously, no, they're not. They're going with UConn, so that they gave us our early prediction, but they're saying Texas. Wow.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to watch the game before this one. Texas, South Carolina, obviously both from a SEC, so they've already played each other two or three times, I believe, this season. I know South Carolina obviously beat him in the SEC championship game, so I think that one's definitely going to be a barn burner, and that one's definitely going to be a very close game as well. And I think this one's probably going to be a very close game also. So I think Friday night we definitely have two very, very good matchups on our hands.
User said discussions of Juju irrelevant. She wasn't there, just like we had major players injured last many tournaments. Yeah, I do 100% agree with that, Ryan. We've been through some tough roads, up and downs on this podcast since we've been covering this team. And yeah, I just feel like finally it's our turn. Even though it's already a rich history. I mean, we haven't been following them that long as far as on the pod. So I think it's time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously, every matchup you want all the teams to be completely healthy, but unfortunately, that's not how it always goes for everybody. And, Notre Dame's another team where they're pretty similar to UConn. They've had a lot of talent, had a lot of injuries, and this season they made another ride at it, but, lost there in the Elite Eight. So, or in the Sweet 16, rather, they lost. So, Notre Dame's another team that's definitely dealt with their fair share of injuries, as has some other teams now. But yeah, I mean, we never know what could have happened in that matchup, but luckily UConn prevailed either way.
This is a good one. Just me said I watched that the UCLA LSU game. Betts is a beast, but she used her arms and elbows many times to get into position. In my opinion, she should have fouled out of that game, fouled out of the game before the fourth quarter. I don't know why the referees let her get away with all those offensive fouls. UConn will have to be ready for that. Jana and Ice will need to be tough.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Lauren Betts sometimes struggles with foul trouble, so that's definitely something to keep our eyes on. That fouls are always big in these type of games. So yeah, I think Jana and Ice and Sarah have to be pretty aggressive inside when guarding Lauren Betts, and just keep their hands up in that legal guarding position. And we obviously don't want them to get into any sort of foul trouble. But yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup for all of them. But the way they've handled those two players in the previous games, I'm pretty confident they can get the job done on Lauren Betts.
Hey, also everyone, comment below and tell us how you're celebrating this Final Four, uh, punching a ticket to the Final Four. That is, because I care about everybody, right? But I especially care about Jason D'Amico. Jason, tell us how you're celebrating. This is exciting times, man. We don't get that. Well, UConn fans get this a lot, right, in the past, but you don't know if it's ever going to come again. That's the beautiful thing about it. It's here now, but will it happen next year or the following? You just don't know. So appreciate it while it's here. Jason said, Caitlin made a liar out of me, and I couldn't be happier. She was aggressive and solid. AZ needs to stop shooting from the shoulder. It's not falling for her, and it kills our momentum. Thought about Juju. Sure, the score would have been closer, and it would have been anyone's game, just like usual. But if Juju is scoring 20 to 25 points, that means other players from USC are not scoring. So it levels out. It would have been exciting nonetheless. Peace.
Yeah, and I think somebody also said in the comments how Caitlyn had her biggest game on the biggest stage, which is exactly right. So I'm very happy for Caitlyn. She had that performance scoring those 15 points. That was very, very big for us, considering also that AZ Fudd was struggling the other night. So hopefully she can have a better performance. But like I said, she picked it up, made a couple baskets there in the fourth quarter, and AZ's always going to shoot no matter what or how she's shooting. So yeah, it's going to be very exciting. But I'm glad Caitlin had a good game, and I think hopefully she can carry that into this game as well.
All right, Ryan, here we go. Friday, April the 4th, 9 o'clock. It's the Final Four. We finally reached it. Connecticut Huskies, UCLA Bruins. From Tampa, Florida. Who wins this one and punches their ticket to the national championship?
Well, I mentioned I predicted this matchup in my bracket. Now, I got to be honest, I did pick UCLA in my bracket to
Whoa.
win, but with the way UConn is playing, Paige Bueckers having three straight 30-point games. I just can't pick against UConn, so I'm gonna go against my bracket, and I'm gonna say UConn 81, UCLA 77.
Oh my goodness. You have a close one. A close one. I love it. Ryan, this is tough. This is probably more than likely because, like you said, I think, obviously, if UConn wins this one, everybody, I think it would be very shameful to not go with UConn as the favorite to win it all if they can somehow get past UCLA. No disrespect to Texas or South Carolina, I'm just saying. But Ryan, I'm going UConn. UConn wins this one. UCLA gets eliminated. UConn wins it. Final score 78 to 70. 78 to 70. UConn over UCLA. And Ryan, I will see you right back here on a late Friday night. I'm hoping it's another beautiful game recap. Phil and Ryan on Listen Up.